invite you to engage, connect, and contribute the discussion that we have today so that we can work together to build a sustainable energy future. And before I end it, let me welcome our very able moderator who will be taking us throughout the whole day, not the whole day, sorry, the whole event, Linda Adongo, who's the Secretary of the World Energy Day Foundation. Welcome, Linda.
Good morning. Thanks so much, Ruth. Thank you for the introduction to the session, and also thank you for introducing me. So thank you so much, Ruth, for the introduction. My name is Linda. I'm part of the World Energy Day Secretariat. I think I've met some of you in the first webinar that we held on 29th of August, where we were exploring the energy and transport conversations around the EV market in East Africa. And it was very engaging. So I appreciate all of you for having joined the first one and also joining us for this second webinar. So today's focus is going to be on the youth, and we want to look at youth programs and how they help to drive some of the measures that we would want to implement in the energy sector, and also youth as a resource, as a key resource for the sector in Africa to drive energy efficiency uptake and also uptake of renewable energy projects. So with us, we have a lot of our partners from the first cohort that we had for the Youth in Energy Empowerment Program, also the second cohort, and currently the third cohort, which is running, which began in June 2024. But before I unpack the program for today, I would want us to just go through the World Energy Day Forum. I know some of you are joining us for the first time, so I would want us to understand what the World Energy Day Foundation is all about and some of the initiatives that we do. So the World Energy Day is a foundation that was established way back in 2021. That's when we had our first event. And we are a not-for-profit and also non-political organization that drives energy awareness in Africa. And we do this through different forums. We engage in different conversations that surround energy matters in Africa, and we allow different experts in the region to come on board and speak on their experience and their expertise in this market. And also we have other programs like the Youth in Innovation Challenge, which we allow the youth to share some of the projects that they've been able to develop, and hopefully we can create awareness around these projects. They could also get funding, mentorship, and support from the audience and the public. And we also recognize some of the experts and the efforts that have gone into the energy sector in Africa. And we do this through a gala, a dinner that we have, and we are able to award and recognize some of our industry leaders. So that is just a brief about the World Energy Day Foundation. So we are so glad to have all of you join us today. And the first event that we held way back in 2020, we had it as a virtual event. This was because this was post-COVID. I think all of us were affected by the pandemic, but we still were able to garner around 150 participants and 21 speakers. So we had a very fruitful event, and we were talking about the future of Africa, discussing innovation, efficiency, and also technologies in the market. So the event had several partners and supporters, and one of them was the GIZ, We for Food chapter. And GIZ has been a great supporter of sustainable projects in Africa. And the We for Food chapter, which is currently running different programs in Africa, and it focuses on regional innovation hubs, and they offer financial support and also technical assistance to different projects that are being developed in the agri-food sector. So that was a key partner that we had. However, we had other partners like Enso Impact, which is a UK-based company, and they look at investing in growing talent and businesses to deliver net zero initiatives in the region. And currently they're focused on the African market and looking at sustainable programs for the market. We also had EP Group, which has been a very key partner for the World Energy Day Foundation since the very beginning. And they are currently running different programs to support businesses and create an ecosystem of businesses that can also drive impact on sustainable programs in Africa and in the UK. So another key partner that we had was Area Finergy, and I'm so happy to have them here. We have Jenny, who is going to speak with us later, and Jenny has been part of the World Energy Day Foundation also from the beginning, and she's part of Area Finergy. Area Finergy are an industry leader that supports in implementation of energy technologies, particularly renewable energy. And they offer design and also finance and operation and maintenance for solar PV projects and also battery storage and power stabilization. So I will give them an introduction later. I just wanted us to go through some of the key partners that we have had and acknowledge them. For the second webinar that we had it in Kampala, Uganda, and this was in 2021, and we discussed energy sustainability in Africa. So we were looking at unlocking the food sustainability, climate change, and water equation. And it was a very key event because also for the Youth in Energy Empowerment Program, it's for the first time it was able to scale into Uganda. So we'll be able to hear more about how that went. And with us, we have Karen who will be able to take us through that session. For the third webinar, we held it in 2022 in Kenya. So we came back to Mombasa. We had a very good 3-day event, and we were looking at empowering energy independence in Africa. So we were looking at enabling rural and also urban renewable energy awareness, access, and affordability to energy. So it was a very key event that was focused on ensuring that we're having discussions around some of the technologies that we have in the market and the impact that they're creating in the communities around us. And some of the partners that we had were the Kenya Rainforest Alliance. And Kenya Rainforest Alliance has been a really key industry leader in ensuring that there's catalyzation of renewable energy uptake and also looking at how we can stop deforestation and create more sustainable ways to consume energy, especially for the tea sector in Africa. So they were very key in driving that conversation. Another key partner was Kerea. Kerea is based in Kenya, and it is the Kenya Renewable Energy Association. They're an independent and non-for-profit association dedicated to the growth and development of renewable energy for their members. So another key partner that we had was Camco Clean Energy. Camco is also a fund manager currently looking at uptake of energy efficiency projects and renewable projects in East Africa. And they offer financing to different partners or different clients who would want to implement some of their energy projects. So we have some of them on board today, and I would just like to acknowledge them and appreciate them for joining us today. So that is a brief overview of the past and currently where we are at. We did have the first webinar that is leading up to the World Energy Day conference that we will be holding in Nairobi this time. And we will be hosting it on 22nd of October. So we have a really amazing theme, and I think I'll be able to unveil it later as we proceed. So I would just like us to now jump into today's session. Again, I welcome you all. Kindly share on the chat where you're joining us from. I know some of you are joining us from different parts of the world, and we appreciate your time. So kindly write on the chat where you're joining us from, and we will be able to also acknowledge you. So on to today's program. I have spoken about some of the partners we have, and with that we have a word from one of our partners for the World Energy Day Foundation, and also has been a key partner for the YEP, or the Youth in Energy Empowerment Program. And we have with us Dr. Engineer McBain Mackenzie. Engineer McBain is a senior energy specialist with 15 years experience in renewable energy. He's been very key to driving conversations on uptake of energy efficiency and sustainable projects in Africa, particularly the East Africa hub. He's also been very critical in driving some of the projects that a lot of the organizations in in East Africa in the agri-food sector are also driving in the market, and he works for the GIZ Corporation, which is a German corporation that I spoke of earlier. Sorry, okay, yes, so Engineer McBain has been very key to ensuring that we drive youth programs, and he has a word for us today as representing all the partners for the World Energy Day Foundation and also the partners for the YEEP program. And we have a short video from him. He was to join us, but he sends his apologies as he is currently in transit, but he'll be able to join us later on. So Karen, kindly just play Engineer McBain's video for the audience. I think as Karen is playing the video, I can see some of our participants from Eldoret. I can see Elaine. I can see Nehemiah from Kenya. You're most welcome. Amos from Taita Taveta. I can see Kampala, Uganda. Mercy. Thank you for joining us today. Aturi also from Uganda. We have Daisy from Busia. Wow, we have a lot of participants from different parts of Kenya and also Africa. Thank you for joining us. I think now the video is ready, so we can hear a word from Engineer McBain Mackenzie.
Pleasure to be here today to give a few comments about a truly innovative and impactful program, the Youth Energy Empowerment Program, YEEP, that is being implemented by Innovators Limited and which was formally launched back in 2021 with support from GIZ through the Global Initiative Water and Energy for Food, which is mainly focused on promoting environmentally sustainable innovations aimed at improving energy and water efficiency in the agricultural sector. The partnership between We4F and innovators set out to build ESCO models for the promotion of food security through water and energy management with a focus on youth empowerment. And the goal of the YEEP program that pretty much came out through this partnership aims at training young professionals to address energy challenges in different sectors, including the agri-food arena. So the first batch of YEEP consisted of 10 young professionals who underwent a comprehensive program that included both a theoretical training phase that was based on globally recognized curricula on energy management content, and this was coupled to practical experience through attachment of these individuals to various industries in Kenya, the likes of Cargill, the likes of Kenya Nut Company, among others. The young professionals ultimately ended up carrying out assessment of these facilities, doing the energy footprint analysis, and the whole effort was not only about reducing the energy costs, but also more or less empowering the next generation to lead sustainable energy practices in their communities and in industry. Just to give you some numbers, ultimately from this first batch and the partnership, energy savings of between 9 and 41% across the facilities were achieved, and this translates to around 63 million kilowatt hours of energy that were saved, and a reduction in greenhouse gas emissions by around 850 tons. And beyond the environmental impact, the project also delivered substantial financial benefits, with total energy savings amounting to approximately 90 million Kenya shillings annually. These results more or less underscore the broader impact of this initiative, which is fostering sustainability in efficient energy utilization, both in industries and equipping the young people with tools and skills to drive this change. By engaging the youth in energy management and innovation, we are ensuring a future where the society will thrive both economically and environmentally. This partnership is a true testament to the power of collaboration, and I look forward to seeing its lasting impact on East Africa's energy sector. I also look forward and take this opportunity to invite the participation of more companies and organizations in this initiative. I believe that the next speakers will further highlight why more noise should actually be made about this program. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Engineer McBain Mackenzie. Thank you for the amazing words and also a call to action for more facilities and more organizations to take up youth programs and also ensure that they are speaking about their energy consumption and looking at ways to reduce it through project implementation. And our speakers will be able to highlight that as we move along. So now I would want us to go into today's program with the Youth in Energy Empowerment Program. So this year for the World Energy Day Conference 2024, we have been able to partner with YIP, the Youth in Energy Empowerment Program. And we do have a coordinator here. Karen has been the coordinator of YIP from the very beginning, from cohort 1, which we were able to launch in 2020. So Karen is going to be able to take us through a little bit about the program so you can understand some of the great benefits, some of the impacts that the program has had, not only for the youth, but also for the beneficiaries in terms of the facilities that have taken up this youth to drive energy conversations and also see ways they can improve on their consumption of energy and water. So I would like to introduce Karen Thuranira, the YIP coordinator, to take us through a little bit about the Youth in Energy Empowerment Program.
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much, Linda. Thank you for that. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, everyone, from wherever we are joining from. My name is Karen Thuranira. As Linda has introduced me, I'm privileged to be part of YIP as a coordinator and have been blessed to watch the journey all the way from the first cohort to where we are right now. So I'll just share my screen and take us through how the journey has been. I hope I'm audible. Okay.
Yes, you are.
Thank you. All right, so this is what we have been able to achieve with the Youth in Energy Empowerment Program. And thankfully, the speaker that went before me, Engineer McBain, has been able to highlight a lot of what we were able to do, especially during the first cohort. Yeah, so today's theme, I'm sure we all are aware of this. It was Youth in Energy, which is a very exciting topic. I am very passionate about the youth and all matters youth empowerment. And today we are unveiling the Youth in Energy Empowerment Program, and we are taking a deep dive into energy management for facilities, how it's been in the past, the present, and how it's going to be also in the future. So maybe first we start by what is YIP. For those who are here, and this is the first time you're hearing about YIP, YIP is in full, it's Youth in Energy Empowerment Program, and it's in an internship program that we run here at Innovators Limited. And when we first launched YIP, or when YIP was first birthed, it was as a result of the young people who were tamarking out there, not able to secure jobs. And when we released calls for applications, even as an organization, we would get a lot of applications, yet we only needed like 2 or 3. So we felt it would be prudent to have a program such as YIP, which would give these young people in their tens or even hundreds a platform where they can be trained and upskilled and given the kind of experience that they need to be able to compete for the jobs that are available out there in the industry, and also to look or rather to have the confidence to approach the entrepreneurial opportunities that are out there. So that is why we came up with YIP, and it targets young people with a technical background who are aged between 21 and 30. And YIP just acts as a gap. It's a bridge between school and the work environment, or rather the employment space, or what is actually happening in the industry. So once they come into the YIP program, they are able to now transition well into the opportunities that are out there, especially in the energy space. So in the beginning, YIP was launched on the 19th of January, 2021. And Engineer McBain has mentioned that they came in as resources to actually drive the program that we had at that time, building ESCO models for promotion of food security through water and energy management, but then with a focus on youth empowerment. And this was funded by GIZ through the Water and Energy for Food project. And we were able to graduate this cohort in the October of 2021. A summary of these projects that they were able to come up with has also been highlighted by Engineer McBain. And just to look at it, I think it looks better when it's on screen, just like rather than just hearing him mention about it. And in terms of energy savings, we were able to achieve between 9 to 40% energy savings across the 10 facilities that we were working with at that time. And a total of 846 tons of greenhouse gases were avoided. And in terms of kilowatt hours, that translates to this much kilowatt hours that we see here, and a whopping 90 billion in terms of Kenyan shillings. So we can see that the Youth in Energy Empowerment Program has been a high impact. And these are just some of the beneficiaries that we had for the first cohort. They were all coming from the agri-food sector. And some of the interventions that our young people came up with, and for some of these facilities, they've actually been able to implement a lot of these projects. We had projects in solar PV, insulations, boilers, refrigeration, motors upgrade, efficient lighting retrofits. We had VFDs, voltage optimization, and real-time energy monitoring. These were just some of the things that, or rather the interventions that were proposed for these 10 facilities that we worked with. So here I have a few case studies for some of the facilities, just highlighting them. I'll just go through them very fast. For a facility like Kagwe Tea Factory, they were using, their energy bills came to about 2.8 million per month. And these were the type of interventions that were proposed by the intern that we had placed there. And once that was implemented, they would achieve reduced energy costs by up to 16.3 million, which also translates to about 364,000 kilowatt hours, or rather units, if you prefer to refer them as that, and around 292.6 tons of CO2 avoided. Yeah, so there's just some of the other facilities that we looked at, but because of time, I will not go to that, but I'll jump straight to cohort 2. For cohort 2, we trained 35 energy professionals from Kenya and Uganda. And this cohort was launched in March 2022. That's when we commenced. And the theme was empowering energy independence in Africa, enabling rural and urban renewable energy awareness, access, and affordability. It was rolled out in 2 phases, and they were able to take their theoretical training and also finish their internship. And the impact for these was also massive. For the beneficiaries, these are just some of the beneficiaries that we have. We have AREA in the house, we have the social house in the house. And these are some of the beneficiaries that have been able to take up interns from the past, or rather the previous cohorts of YIP, and they'll tell us how the journey has been for them. For cohort 3, and this is the current cohort that we have, this commenced this year in June, and we had targeted 100, but we ended up with 50 young people from Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. And when we did our exams last year in August, 45 did very well, and these were able to proceed to the next phase. So phase one was mainly characterized by a 3-month hybrid energy management training, so as to make sure that we accommodate the young people from Kenya, from Uganda, and also from Tanzania. And those who were able to come physically, they were taking their training from our training center. And they have now been moved to their second phase, which is now the internship phase. And we are rolling them out. We are still rolling them out, and we hope to place all the 45 so that they can just go and complete the internship program. So in a nutshell, I could go through the impact and what YIP is all about, but I know that the other speakers will follow me, who will come after me, will do that. So basically, and in very few words, that has been the journey that we've had as the Youth in Energy Empowerment Program. Thank you so much, Linda. And I'll invite maybe questions or comments.
Yeah, thanks so much, Karen. That's very insightful. I think the program is very key to ensure that organizations are understanding how they're consuming power, how they're consuming energy, and to also realize that there are ways they can bring down these costs. And when you look at most facilities, they may not have someone who's able to even verify their energy bills or even interpret their energy bills. So they are just receiving bills and making payments. So having someone placed in these facilities is very key to drive some of the measures to ensure that they are they're actually taking on sustainable programs and projects to help them to lower the cost of energy. So I just have one question regarding the Youth in Energy Empowerment Program. How do you select facilities to join in the program? What criteria do you select? Do you use to select these facilities? I know there's so many facilities on board that may want to understand how they can be a part of the program.
Thank you very much, Linda, for that question. So yes, we have a criteria on how we select facilities, but at the beginning, what we just do is call for organizations to apply. We release a call for applications concurrently with the call that we release for the interns to apply to join the program. So interested organizations can just apply, fill out the form, and we'll reach out to them. We will ask a few questions on what their agenda is, especially in terms of sustainability or with regards to energy efficiency and management as an organization. And that way we are able to plug in well and know actually how they are going to benefit from the program. So the very first stage is just filling out the application form. Then we're just going to vet them and see actually if their facility is going to benefit well from the YIP program. And even if it is, we also check how the intern is also going to learn from there, because it's a win-win. The interns, our YIP cohortians, as we call them, they need to be placed in a facility where they can actually grow and run, actually be able to implement the agendas that we have under the Youth in Energy Empowerment Program. We have a 6-month program that we share with these facilities, and mainly it just shows what the young professional is going to be doing when they are placed there. It ranges all the way from real-time energy monitoring to conducting energy and water audits, to bill verifications and checking things like even the power factor, if it's correct, to forming energy management committees at the facilities, to training these committees, and just to make sure that at the end of these 6 months, their benefits, or rather every party, the intern and the organization, are able to see that these has actually been beneficial for each of them. Yes, so that is what we do.
Yeah, thank you so much. I think those are very great initiatives that the youth can focus on. If a facility has a program for 6 months and the activity is running up every day, it's very possible for them to understand their energy needs and also for us to ensure that they're developing these projects for their facilities. And I know you've mentioned something really critical here, that you do offer training for the youth, and this training there's a theory part of it. But I understand that there are also other parts of training that you give to the youth. Could you kindly shed a light on some of the essential skills that the youth have been able to uptake during this program?
Yes, thank you, Linda. That's a very good question. The Youth in Energy Empowerment Program, as much as it is designed for the technical professionals, or rather to grow the young technical people who aspire to have careers in the energy space, we also try to ensure that it's as holistic as possible. What do I mean by holistic? That we try to incorporate life skills that are actually benefiting to these young people. When they graduate from YIP, we want them to be able to actually compete for jobs that are out there. Or if someone has a muscle for entrepreneurship, we want to make sure that that is really activated. And we are grateful for these modules that we have under life skills, because that's exactly what it does. We have things like communication skills that we cover broadly, even public speaking. We have presentation and how someone can brand themselves and actually present themselves out there. Even if they were to own an organization in future, they would know how to brand it and market it. We teach them how to excel by in interviews, by having a session or an expert come in to talk about succeeding at interviews. We talk to them about mental health, about financial management, how they'd be able to manage their finances. We talk to them about emotional intelligence. Yeah, so these are just some of the modules that we cover under essential skills. And so far, from the feedback that I've collected from the young people that we have been training, they have really appreciated the softer part of the technical courses that we offer. We take a deep dive into the technical energy management and stuff, but we also make sure that they balance now with these essential skills.
Wow, yeah, that's wonderful. I think that's something that also has not really been taught in universities or colleges. So how can you manage your finances? How can you communicate better? How can you express yourself? How can you conduct yourself at interviews? I think these are some of those skills that are really critical for the youth to be able to benefit from in a program such as this. Even as you're placing them in different facilities, they already have those skills that they can be able to communicate very well, and also ensure that the client is also understanding what they're there to do, because that's part of the program, understanding what you're there to do and also how you want to forge your career. So I know we have some youth here. I can see some in the room, and I would just want you to tell them how could they join a program like this. I know currently you're running the cohort 3 and we are placing the interns. However, I know some of them will be interested in joining the program for the next cohort. You could just kindly give them a little bit about that.
Yeah, thank you so much for that opportunity. Yes, if you're a young person in this audience, you have a technical background and you want to pursue a career in energy, in the energy space, I feel like this is the best place for you. Some of the benefits for you as an energy professional or an upcoming energy professional is that this platform will help you grow at zero cost. We don't charge. The program comes for free to young people, to the interns that we enroll. That's how it's been for the first, second, and the current cohort that we are running. So what you need to look out for is a call for applications. We receive a lot of applications, and the call for application will have details on how you can join and what you're expected to do. Sometimes we need to talk to you to just understand what drives you or what motivates you to want to have a career in the energy space. And if we believe that that's actually the way that you want to go, we offer you an opportunity and you're able to come in and access all these amazing trainers, all the amazing modules, content that they have prepared for you. There are experts that we work with in the energy space, and we avail this to you as mentors. So they're able to actually get someone to hold their hand and help them transition well into the energy space. So I feel like this is a program that gives you the right shove that you need. So look out. Currently, we're running cohort 3. We are in phase 2. We started this September, phase 2. So 6 months from now, from September, we'll be releasing a call for application for the 4th cohort. So make sure to follow us, World Energy Day Foundation, and also Innovators Limited on all social media platforms. We are there, and you'll be able to see once we release that call. There is also our newsletter. Mary will drop a link even to our WhatsApp page. We also do WhatsApp broadcasts, so you'll be able to see that and also receive the email campaigns that we run. Yeah, so thank you so much, Linda, and I look forward to receiving a lot of applications for 2025.
Yes, thank you so much, Karen. Thank you so much for that insightful session. And I would like to also acknowledge that you do have trainers, and these trainers have been able to offer the expertise and the experience and even hold the hand of this youth and offer them mentorship even as they are placed in different facilities. And the program has had several partners in terms of trainers in the past and also currently. So we have had several experts in the region who have been able to contribute to the course content and also to ensuring that the program is always evolving and always meeting the current needs of the market. So with us, we do have one of the trainers who I would like us to just go through some of the training content that they've been able to look at, and also why this is beneficial for the program and how it translates into supporting the facilities once they are placed there for the 6 months internship program. So with me, I have Engineer Jabez Manyala, and Engineer Manyala has been an expert and an industry leader. I think most of you, if you're engineers, you have been able to interact with him in different forums. And we are so honored that he's taken his time today to meet with us. He is an electrical engineer from the University of Nairobi, and he's also a registered professional with the Engineers Board of Kenya. He's a licensed Class A energy auditor and Class A1 electrician by EPRA, and has very vast experience from working with the Kenya Pipeline Company, where he was also able to rise to the position of a chief manager. And currently, he is also a consultant at Innovators Limited, where he offers very valuable input in terms of the sustainable programs that Innovators runs in different for different clients and in different forums, not only in Kenya, but also in Tanzania and Uganda and other regions. So he's been a coordinator in terms of the training that we have been able to offer the youth from cohort 1 up to this cohort. And I think it's very valid for us to look at some of the content that he's been able to develop alongside other very experienced and qualified trainers. And I just want to welcome Engineer Manyala to this session.
Thank you very much, Linda, for that very generous introduction. I believe you are able to hear me.
Yes, clearly.
Thank you very much. Let me see if I can share my screen. Are we able to see the screen?
Yes, we can see the screen.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. First of all, let me welcome everybody to this roundtable discussion. It is a pleasure to see so many people joining us from different parts of the world and also from Kenya. Let me also extend my appreciation to Dr. Engineer McBain, who has been our very great supporter through GIZ. And I also want to thank Karen for highlighting the background to this particular training program. I think she has covered quite a bit of what I'm going to talk about. But the important thing that I want to bring on board is the fact that Karen has highlighted a lot of the activities that happen at our host sites when we place these YIP trainees at the host sites. But what is the platform on which they stand? How do they develop the kind of skills that are required to work effectively and operate as an accomplished energy auditor or energy manager or energy professional when they are engaged in these facilities? So my task this morning will be very simple, just to give a brief overview of how our training content has been developed, especially with a focus to meeting the challenges and the requirements of industry as they keep on evolving. So let me just see if we can look at the slides. So as Linda has indicated, and Karen, we are now on cohort 3, which is currently just being prepared to go out into industry as interns. So how has our training content developed over the years since we had the first YIP cohort 1 in 2021? Now, initially, when we started this training, we had a very vibrant collaboration between innovators and the Institute of Energy Professionals Africa, normally just called IPA of South Africa. We did this because IPA had developed a training program that was very successful in South Africa, that was designed to develop energy professionals for the South African industry. So when we looked around and looked also at our vision for our own program, we found out that they had a fairly similar intent in terms of the content that they had developed. And also this program was actually approved and certified by the South African Quality Authority. So remember when McBain gave his brief remarks, he talked about a program that is internationally recognized. So that was our vision also, to provide a platform that would give our young people training on the basis of a program that would be recognized anywhere around the globe. So that is how we decided to go with the training program that was being run by IPA in South Africa. Now, a lot of the technical content that we developed for the YIP was actually derived on the basis of the curriculum that was being offered by IPA in South Africa. However, there were certain skills that were not incorporated in the South African program. And you remember Karen talking about soft skills. Now, these soft skills are skills that complement the actual hard technical stuff that an energy professional would need in the field. So in addition to what we adapted from the South African program, we also locally developed these soft skills contents so that we could respond much more effectively to the requirements in our local industries. So part of what you see on the screen is the technical content that we adapted from the South African program, dealing basically with the so-called hardware that you need in a facility. You will be dealing with boilers, you will be dealing with compressed air systems, you'll be dealing with electrical systems, you'll be dealing with generators and power reticulation systems, you'll be dealing with thermal systems that are used for heating and cooling in industry. So this content was primarily technical. So when we looked at it, we thought that it would be good also to include contents that were suitable for our own particular environment. And even within the technical content, we had to adapt some of the of the hard stuff to reflect our own environment. For example, the health and safety module that we got from IPA had to be adapted because the local regulations were not completely in sync with what they have in South Africa because they have a different environment. So we have to incorporate our own requirements in the health and safety as part of the program we offer to the young people, because there are a lot of risks that are inherent in any workplace. So they needed to understand some of these risks that they are likely to come across when they operate in their host facilities. Also, we had to adapt fairly extensively the institutional and legal framework for energy management, because in our region, and particularly in Kenya, because the first cohort was primarily drawn from Kenya, we had to give them some understanding of the kind of rules and regulations that are applied in the energy management space in Kenya. So we had to adapt that content fairly extensively to our own conditions. Then, of course, Karen talked about the soft skills. She mentions specifically the art of communication. This we found very important for somebody to be able to operate in a facility, because at the end of the day, an energy professional is a communicator. You have to carry people along with you so that you can effectively discharge the energy management function in any facility. For example, how do you train your energy committee members or your technical experts? Personal branding has also been talked about.
Sorry about that, engineer.
Yeah, I think we need to mute somebody. So personal branding and professional image is important because you are going to interact with people apart from interacting with the technical aspects of any host site. You are going to interact with people, and it is important that you carry yourself with some dignity and have integrity that is demonstrable in any organization. Leadership excellence was also something that we incorporated locally because in many cases, you may find that you are the only person who has a fair knowledge of the intricacies of energy management in an organization. So leadership skills are called for to be able to carry along other people with you in your day-to-day activities. Mental health, I think, was also mentioned by Karen. Succeeding at interviews, also important because at the end of the day, some of these interns may have opportunities to sit before panels to sell themselves or to market themselves so that they can take advantage of available job opportunities. So we take them through aspects of how interviews are conducted and what the interviewers are looking for. Now, something that is extremely important is measurement and verification that we also incorporated in our modules that we are offering the trainees, because at the end of the day, how do you determine how much energy you have saved? You saw Karen flashing some metrics on the screen, so many kilowatt hours, so much CO2 emissions avoided. How do you compute those things in a way that is agreeable to stakeholders? What are the basic tools required to do measurement and verification so that whatever metrics you give out as results or benefits of carrying out energy management can be acceptable to parties involved. And finally, we also incorporated something on financing of energy projects, because we do realize that there are many good energy management or energy efficiency projects that are just lying in in shelves, not being implemented. But one of the key reasons that came out frequently was we don't have finance. The project is good, but we don't have resources to implement it. So there are ways other than using your own internal resources to implement energy efficiency projects. And Linda did mention some of our partners, especially from the UK, with whom we developed certain project pipelines that can enable you to finance an energy project without having to cough up that money upfront from your own resources. And ESCO has been mentioned several times. As a matter of fact, Innovators has developed what we call ESCO in a box model for companies to take advantage of in financing their energy efficiency projects. And I think later on, somebody will talk about ESCO models and how they work. Now, for cohort 2, there are things that we added in addition to what we had offered in cohort 1, and 2 key topics were added, and one of them was energy in transport. Energy in transport became important because we did realize as we were carrying out this program that the issue of new technologies such as electric vehicles were beginning to hit our energy space. And therefore, we felt it was important for our trainees to understand the role of EVs as part of energy efficiency activities. And therefore, we introduced this especially in the EAP cohort 2 content. And then the second module that we introduced is commissioning and maintenance of energy efficiency projects. Because yes, we can do these projects. How do we commission them? What are the issues that arise when these projects are operational in the host sites or host facilities? So we did think that commissioning and maintenance of energy projects was a key aspect of the total energy scenario when it comes to energy management. So we did introduce that particular aspect of maintenance and commissioning. Now for cohort 3, I think this is where we have introduced many more modules that were initially not reflected in cohort 1 and 2. And one of them is the issue of emerging technologies. There are many things that are now being discussed globally in terms of emerging issues. Climate change is a big thing. Sustainability is something that our trainees need to appreciate. There are new technologies like how do you carry out energy audits now. Karen did talk about real-time energy monitoring. What does that mean? How do we deal with the emergence of artificial intelligence, machine learning as a component of energy audits and energy management? So we thought it would be prudent to incorporate these new challenges and emerging issues in our offering to our trainees. Introduction to energy economics and financial analysis became also important for us because at the end of the day, when you want to do an energy project, it is always a matter of trying to juggle and convince the people who hold purse strings that the project is viable. So how do you do that? We have incorporated a body of knowledge within this particular model that will enable our trainees to successfully present energy efficiency projects in terms of the financial metrics that the finance people understand. Renewable energy, of course, I have talked about, but we have a major focus not only on solar energy production, but we have also incorporated what we call PVT, that is solar photovoltaic incorporated with solar thermal, so that from an energy efficiency perspective, you get much more reward if you combine both solar PV and solar thermal in a package that will deliver both electricity and your thermal energy requirements. So that is something that we have also incorporated in our training of the young people. Report writing and presentation initially was not present in the cohort 1 and cohort 2, but in cohort 3, we have introduced report writing and presentation because at the end of the day, you remember communication, you have to communicate your findings. How do you do that in a way that your parties can understand? How do you present it in a language that everybody can understand, and how do you present it in a professional way. Change management is important in all activities, and this was initially not available as an offering, but in YIP Cohort 3, this has been introduced. Now, entrepreneurship and business thinking, I think Linda mentioned something about people going out there to start up companies, because not everybody who goes through this program may find an employment opportunity. But with all this knowledge, they should not just sit feeling desolate and not being able to do something for themselves. So entrepreneurship and business thinking is an important aspect and component that was introduced in YIP Cohort 3. And of course, finally, I talked about energy and transport in YIP Cohort 2, but in YIP Cohort 3, we introduced, other than the theory, we have also now incorporated some practical training aspects on energy and transport, especially on the use of EVs. I think that is basically a brief, very quick overview of what we have gone through in terms of developing content that is relevant to our environment and relevant to the requirements of industry in Kenya particularly, but also within the region, especially Uganda and Tanzania. Thank you very much for listening to me. I know probably I've taken a bit more longer than was required, but I'm now open to any comments, any questions that our audience may have. Thank you very much, Linda.
Oh, thank you. Thank you so much, Engineer Manyala. Thank you so much for that overview. I think any youth who is willing or would want to join the program clearly understands the outline of the training and also how they would be able to benefit from this program. I see on the chat a few comments and questions. We will have a question section at the end of this session. However, I have seen one that maybe we may need to tackle in terms of one of the questions that are in the chat box, speaking about insights into the YIP program. I think, Karen, this is for you. And the question is, when do you typically release the call for application?
Thank you, Linda. I try to answer that. Once we complete the current cohort, we don't take long before releasing the call for application. I may not have the actual month or time, but for cohort 4, we can estimate that would be 6 months time from now. On the 7th month, we will be releasing a call for applications. Okay. Sometimes it heavily depends on how prepared we are to launch the next cohort.
Okay, thank you. I think that is clear enough. The cohorts run every year, so there's an opportunity for you to be able to apply for the next cohort. And for Engineer Manyala, you've spoken about amazing training content. We just want to know how do you assess the youth? How do you assess these trainers once they have gone through this training program?
Thank you, Linda, for that question. A very important question. For YIP Cohort 1, you remember I said most of the content came through our partners in South Africa, YIPA. And for Cohort 1, the assessment of the YIPAs was done through an examination that was generated by YIPA. It was generated by YIPA and also marked by YIPA in South Africa. However, for Cohort 2 and 3, as we started developing our own content and incorporating additional material that was not initially available within the YIPA program, we have now gone to the stage where we set the exams here locally ourselves. After the EPAS have gone through the what I would call mandatory, in quotes, mandatory 6 months training, where we take them through the theory and so on. So once that phase is done, they do an examination that is set and moderated by all the trainers. We are quite a number of trainers involved in this program. And for each trainer, they will set their exams, which are then moderated before they are administered to the EPAS.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for answering that question. And I would just like to acknowledge some of the experts that have been able to offer training for this year program from cohort 1 to the current cohort. We've had amazing content from Engineer Manyala, who has just spoken. We've also had content from Engineer Benjamin Njuguna, who was also looking at the renewable energy sector and some of the technologies and components of we could implement in terms of renewable energy. We also had Eustace Sanjeru, who has been a great supporter from cohort 1. And we also had Chris Mbori, Engineer Chris Mbori, who has also been driving this youth program and ensuring that Innovators is able to consistently take up the youth program and ensure that facilities are able to get benefits from placing this youth in their facility. We've also had Isaiah Omondi, who joined us in this current cohort, speaking about energy and transport. So we appreciate your time. And this just touches onto some of the benefits of not only taking up youth programs, but also supporting a youth, because this program is, as Karen mentioned, this program is at no cost to the youth. And the impact that is created is quite huge. As you can see, it goes on to even post this project or post this program into their career path. So it's amazing to see what the experts have been able to do with the youth, the current programs and also the past cohorts. So now I'd just like us to speak to some of the beneficiaries, and these are the facilities that have been able to onboard the youth in their organization to take up some of the energy management, and also looking at the amazing things that they're doing in the industry. And I would just want us to start with Jenny Fletcher. Jenny Fletcher is here with us. Jenny Fletcher has been a key supporter of the World Energy Day program from the very first conference, and also a key supporter of the Youth in Energy Empowerment program. She is the co-founder and CEO of Aria Finergy and also Aria Capital Group. She serves on several boards, including the Women Corporate Directors Kenya chapter and Walvis Bay Power Plant. And under her leadership, she's been able to drive Aria Finergy to become a leader in business-to-business clean energy and financing in East Africa, more so to do with renewable energy projects, power stabilization and battery storage. And she's also been able to spearhead Kenya's first major wind farm to reach financial close, and has successfully grown the business across Africa. So Aria Finergy provides full service clean energy solutions, while Aria Capital Group is developing over 2 gigawatts of renewable energy power. So that includes solar, wind, gas projects in Africa, and she's also a speaker today. Thank you so much, Jenny, for joining us. We really appreciate your time. I know you've taken so much time to be able to join us in the first conference and also support youth programs. I commend you for that. Aria is doing amazing things in the region. So I would just like to welcome you to speak a little bit about your organization, and then we can also jump into the youth program and how it has benefited your organization.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you so much, Linda. I very, very much appreciate the invitation to come and speak at this World Energy Day conference. Such an important topic, youth education, getting people job ready. So yeah, we at Aria, we're, I would say our silver bullet, if you like, is power stabilization, where that's really what we focus on. We've done, 50 plus solar projects, but where we really differentiate is in the power stabilization for industry, mines and industry. So we started in Kenya and now have moved to have offices in Uganda and Tanzania. And we're looking at cohort 3 for potentials for those offices. ARIA was very lucky to be provided with CVs from cohort 1 and cohort 2, and we took Gloria Maruti joined us from cohort 1, and Louis Kimutai joined us from cohort 2. So I could dive straight into a little about what the experience has been like, or do you have specific questions for me, Linda?
Yes, please proceed with the experience for
Okay.
ARIA as an organization, and then we can also
Okay.
speak about the trainees, yes.
Okay, brilliant. Thank you. So I think the biggest thing that YEEP does for all those who join it, other than the technical training side, is really the soft skills. You know, the transition from informal sector to the formal sector, what's expected in the workplace, how to solve problems within the workplace, thinking outside the box. So that's been our experience, is when you have a YEEP graduate come and join the company, they're job ready. And they join and pick up new tasks and new opportunities very quickly, because they've had that grounding through the YEEP program of really sort of working in the formal sector, looking at very, very different things. They look at, sustainability. For us, obviously, we're more focused on the renewable energy side. But what we've found is that both of our the YEEPs who joined us, they're both on this call. I hope they don't mind me calling them YEEPs. Have been really good. And compared to when we bring interns in who haven't gone through a program like this, the integration, the learnings, and their ability to just step up is so much faster. So I think that's kind of the biggest thing that I can say about the YEEP program and its impact on people is on the soft skills. Technical side, of course, yes, there's a lot there, but being business ready, being ready to dive into the formal sector and kind of knowing what to expect is a huge thing for anyone who goes through an internship program, who may not have worked in the formal sector before. So for us, both Gloria and Louis have taken on tasks. We had a large cold storage project. They led the entire beginning of the process. So they went, did the first client visit, they did the data logging, they collected all the data, they did the initial sizing, they did the data cleaning, and then with their supervisor did the proposals and the final presentation to the client. So you can see that that's taken the step of sort of the business development step, sort of halfway, 3/4 of the way, which is, of course, an enormous help to any organization to have people who are capable of going out by themselves, representing the company in a way that we're proud to have them out there representing us. So definitely huge advantages to the company of having these two on board. Yeah, I think I know Gloria is going to speak for herself, but she's been involved in leading quite a lot of our videography stuff, some promotional materials, some videos, very involved in the marketing. So it's not just energy, it's also now progressing into the business development side and into marketing. And so there's clearly versatility amongst the Yeeps. And that sort of come out as they've been with us for longer. Work ethic has been brilliant. They really, they're always here, always willing to put their hand up, always willing to try new things. The way that we, when anyone comes from Yeep, any intern, not just from Yeep, but any intern who comes into the company, I think to have them succeed, it's really important that they are partnered with someone who can guide them and allow them to grow in whichever role it is, or if that role isn't 100% suited, be able to say so, and they can move to a slightly different role which might suit them better. Because they can't succeed by themselves, but us in the companies also have to have a view to helping them succeed. So making sure they have someone who can mentor them, a supervisor, a colleague. And so that's super important when, anyone new joins the company, but especially when it's an intern coming in, who may have not worked in the formal sector before. And they just continue to grow and add to the company in so many ways. But I'll just stop there. I think just the overall summary is it's been a good experience, and they really picked up quickly.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I think what you've really touched on is the transition from the informal setting to the formal setting of a workplace. And that is why the essential skills paired with the training is quite important. I think in my time in the engineering sector, I've learned that engineers are very solution oriented. So they look at the technical aspects more so to almost forget the business or the people side. So having the youth program also allow you to use the team to drive business development is quite commendable. And I just wanted to find out, in terms of your team dynamics, has this shifted the team dynamics in your current organization, how it's set up, having the youth come in and not having been vetted by other partners in your organization, but trusting the youth program to be able to give you qualified interns who have been able to allow you to also utilize their skills. Has this changed the dynamics of your team, and how does that look for the rest of the team?
Yeah, the more Gen Zs we can have, the better, right? And so being able to bring young people in is a great advantage to the company. They bring a different perspective, and it's good to have two. We do have some other quite young employees as well, but having that young the young face, the young enthusiasm, bringing in the new ideas, and it's not always directly related to work. It's also, when we had the protests, they had their own view, which added to the conversation in the office of what's going on. So it's super important, I think, to make sure we have young people coming into the workplace, because they do change the dynamic. They bring a fresh perspective, a new perspective that some of the older ones who may have been in the workforce longer may have forgotten. They bring that fresh look into the organization, and I don't know if it's because they're Yeep, but they do speak up and they do have opinions. So that adds to the value they can add. They don't just sort of sit in the corner quiet.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think that touches on the communication skills.
Yeah.
It's something that we were really keen to ensure that they understand that they would have to speak up, express themselves, also give their ideas and share their ideas. Because as a company, you may have been looking at one way of solving a challenge or improving a process, but with fresh ideas, it's always important to speak up so that the same can also be incorporated. So thank you so much. I'm so glad that you're able to take trainees from the first cohort, the second cohort, and I know you're currently looking at the third cohort. So
Yes.
that is really key to support youth programs and also to get benefits from it. I'm really happy that you are actually benefiting from the impact of the youth. So I would just like us to now go into another session. Jenny, if you'll be able
Right.
to stay online, then we can be able to have some questions for you. So I have with me some
So much.
trainees. Thank you so much, Jenny. I have with me some trainees also, but before we move to hearing the experience in the program, I have a beneficiary also from the Social House, which is a hotel based here in Kenya. And we do have with us Chantel. I hope she's still on the line. We have Engineer Chantel Munga, who is an energy manager at the Social House. And she is currently driving the sustainability program there and energy management for their team. She holds a bachelor degree in energy and environmental technology and is very passionate about driving impactful change in the industry. So through her work in the Social House, she'll be able to highlight more of how that has been. And what's interesting enough is that she was also a beneficiary of the YEEP program. So she has been part of the YEEP program and she's still currently placed at the Social House. So I'd like to welcome Chantel Munga. I can see you're with us online.
Yes, I am. Good morning. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
I hope you're all well. Thank you, Linda, for the introduction. So yeah, I was in YEEP cohort 2, and I'm currently placed at the Social House practicing energy management. I feel like the Social House is a lucky facility to have like a YEEP beneficiary because I will say, well, while in school or my previous experience, I have never worked in a hotel. So coming to Social House, it was a change of environment because now you get to meet different people. They get to ask a lot of questions, which you may have answers and not have answers to. So if I can go straight to my presentation. Can I share my screen?
Chantal, yes, you can share your screen. Can you check on your sound a little bit? It's a bit faint.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, that's much better. Thank you.
Okay.
Karen, would you kindly share the presentation or allow Chantel to share her screen?
Chantel, you can be able to share. Try.
Okay. Okay. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can see the screen.
Yeah, so I believe that youth, we are a key resource in driving energy efficiency, particularly in the renewable sector, where innovation and sustainability are essential. Energy management in facilities, especially the hotel and renewable energy, it helps in optimizing energy consumption, reducing operational costs, and lower carbon emissions. So with YEEP we have been able to do real-time monitoring for the Social House, where we get to track different departments and how their consumption is. Well, let's go down. So how do we do this? We have installed e-gauges. E-gauges are real-time monitoring devices that measure and record electricity consumption and production. And how do they work? So first you do the installation, which are connected to the electric panel of a building, in this case, the Social House, where it measures energy across different circuits. It also uses the current transformers into bracket cities that are clamped onto the electrical wires to monitor the flow of electricity. So these A gauges can be used on both three-phase and single-phase. So in the hotel industry, like social house, they have different departments. You have the kitchen, laundry, the canteen, the rooms where we usually have guests, and so on. So with the e-gauge, you get to see how much consumption is used in different departments, and if there's a hike in consumption, and if there's a peak or there's a low peak. So how do we get to see this? Once you've installed, we get the data collection. So the device collects data on energy consumption. Let's say if it's in the kitchen, we get to tap all the machines that are using electricity, yeah? For laundry, we have machines like the steam press, the iron, the dryers, the washing machine. So also those are they get to be tapped. So once you've collected this data, this information is provided using an app, where in cohort 2, we were taken through it, where you get to see the how different departments consume energy. Yeah? So once the data is collected, it goes to the app, where of course you have to use Wi-Fi so that you can get the data. And then after that, you can generate reports. And with this, you can actually identify areas which need energy conservation measures. So at the social house, these are some of the conservation measures that we put in place. One is smart cards for AC control. Typically in the social house guest rooms, there's a smart card where you put your card and lights go on, and once you remove them, the lights go off. So integration of the AC to the smart card has helped in such a way that when the guest is not in the room or the card is not in the smart card AC control, the AC turns off automatically. This has helped in saving energy because in the past, you would find in a room, you go in and the AC is on and there's no one in the room. So that's energy wastage. Yeah. Another efficiency project is the solar thermal heaters that we have installed at the rooftop. So we usually use the solar thermal heaters during sunny days, during the days actually. This helps us cut on cost because we also have a heat pump. But now if there's enough sun and the solar thermal heaters are working at 100% efficiency, we opt to switch off the heat pump and use the solar thermal heaters. Another thing is the lighting optimization, where we have reduced the number of bulbs. We have basement 1 and basement 2. Maybe you guys can find time and come to social house, and I'll take you through all these places. But yeah, we have basement 1 and basement 2 where there are a lot of lighting. So we reduced the number of lights and we were now using natural lights. And this, we saw a big difference in the month of January, because this was implemented in, I think, end of January. So February, when the bill was coming in, we actually saw a reduction. For laundry operations, being a hotel and it has guest rooms, there's a lot of laundry operations going on. That is laundry from guests, from the staff, and also we allow people from outside to bring in their laundry. So we've done training with the laundry team. We've tried to educate them on how they can be doing bulk operations during off-peak hours, that is at night, since the tariff rate is different during off-peak hours at night and high-peak hours during the day. So during the day, you'll find them mostly it's mostly ironing that is going on. But during the night is when most of the bulk operation happens. Another efficiency project we have done is energy awareness training. So this cuts across everyone from the managers to the supervisors and to the staff, because now as much as we are trying to do energy conservation, remember this is a hotel, people don't understand, or you'll find people who don't understand, like, what are you talking about when you say energy conservation? Sini stima too, it's just lighting and we just need electricity. So you have actually to sit down with them and tell them in a layman's language how their usage or their daily operations affects the cost of the electricity bill at the end of the month. So also with the help of the Watix app, we've managed to train people. And so with the Watix app, when you're training people, you can actually tell them, you see, maybe for example, in the laundry department, during this time from around 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., you guys consumed 100 kilowatts per hour. And with the same duration at night, you guys consumed maybe 100 kilowatts per hour, but the rate at which this 100 kilowatts per hour was charged during the day is different with during the night, because during the night, most people don't tend to be using electricity. So the rate is lower. As you can see down here, I will say that these measures led to a notable 18% reduction in the energy consumption in the laundry department and overall improvements in the energy efficiency. Also, maybe to add on the kitchen department, we've been training chefs and the interns who come in, because we usually have different faces every day. So training is needed, awareness is needed on a daily basis on how to use the chillers, what to do when they're loading or offloading the chillers, the exact temperatures that the chillers and freezers should be having, the standard temperatures that is. So it's a juggle of behavioral change, but once this thing is like at the fingertips, it gets better with time. So for the social house, the future projects and vision, we are looking to install a solar PV installation with a 40 kWp solar PV, which will further reduce the cost and increase the use of renewable energy. And also, we are giving out recommendations of upgrading to machines with the EPRA stars. So the more the stars, the more the efficient the machine is. I didn't have much for today, but I would like to talk a little bit about the youth program too. I remember when applying for the youth program, it was back in 2022. I would encourage most of the youth to do so. As much as it is a competitive environment, when you give your best, of course, you usually get what's best, what is best too. So maybe Karen forgot to mention, it's competitive, yes, but we also have exams. And once you're placed in an organization, they just don't let you go like that. They usually give you mentorship, and they usually check up on you every now and then. How are you progressing? Do you need help in understanding things, the technical and the theoretical bits? Me coming to the hotel industry, being a first, when Karen mentioned and Engineer Manyala mentioned the soft skills, that was a major adaptation for me, because now what I was used to be doing in my previous experience is more of technical work. Now, in the hotel industry, you have to present yourself in a certain way. You have to actually talk in a certain way, because you're meeting different clients, different people, and the organization being a sustainable hotel. So you have to like keep up with the trend that is currently happening at the social house. So adaptation is one thing, and learning how to like being vocal and making people understand what you're preaching is really key. And with the help of the YIP mentors and trainers, and also them checking up on you every now and then, I feel like it gets better with time. And as much as most of us don't get placed in a quick manner, but once you get placed, that's it. Now it's you now to showcase what you have actually gained during the program, and yeah, to eat your fruit now. That is all I had, unless there are any questions.
Well, Chantel, thank you so much. I feel that you've grown so much from the first conversation we had with you and now, totally different person. And that just goes to show how youth programs can impact on your life. I know also in terms of your career path, you now kind of have a focus on what you want to look into, where you want to take your career, and also supporting facilities like a hotel, who probably
Yeah.
didn't even know that they would need an energy manager placed there to see some of the benefits of having one. So for the social house, they've been able to take YIP trainees from the first cohort and also the second cohort, and we are also looking forward to having them continue with this program. I know you've mentioned some low-hanging fruits that you have already applied that have saved you up to 18% of energy, and those are just some of the benefits of having an intern placed in your facility. Some of the projects that come out of a report or an energy audit requires a lot of money, and we know that most of our clients may not want to have this financial headache of implementing projects. So looking at those low-hanging fruits like lighting sensors or switching off your AC when you leave a room, just small measures that all the staff are able to apply have led to a really big difference in terms of your energy consumption. So I applaud you for that. And I also thank you for joining us today and sharing your experience in the program. We also look forward to implementing the projects that have come out of this. And the good thing is that we also have some financiers or funders in the program that would be able to offer this financing to the social house. So thank you so much for that. I think I would like us to take a commercial break, and I have one of the videos played by Karen just to introduce one of our trainees who's currently doing amazing things. He was able to move on to France, and he's currently doing a PhD course and also doing a research development project there, driving some of these measures that we're talking about in terms of energy efficiency and looking at programs that can drive the industry in terms of consumption. So Karen, if you have Albert Kibiwot's video, kindly play it so we can have a view of how he's doing.
Hello everyone, I'm Albert Kibiwot, YIP Cohort 1 alumnus and currently a PhD researcher at Telecom Paris. It's an honor today to join you in this World Energy Day webinar to discuss with you the role that the youth can play in addressing today's energy challenges, and to also tell you about my YIP experience. So I'd like to begin by telling you exactly what motivated me to join the YIP program. So this was back in 2021 when I just finished my undergraduate course in electrical and electronic engineering, and came YIP, I saw an opportunity for me to gain hands-on experience and to build on the degree certificate that I had. And from these, I was able to join YIP and interact directly with the energy experts and take part in real-world projects, especially in energy auditing and energy monitoring. So In YIP, we were able to take part in theoretical trainings on energy auditing and also energy management practices. And we were also able to join the industry immediately after that to employ these skills in the industries and help them to identify these opportunities and save on cost. For me, I was stationed at Innovators Limited, where I worked with the tech engineers and carried out a number of audits. I also got the opportunity to work at a Kagwiti factory, where I took part in the projects to realize the energy savings and to also estimate to project the cost that we can realize from this. Some of other energy audits which I can highlight was at Simba Cement at Galleria Mall. And it was really great to see that how a company can save millions of shillings from carrying out these routine practices, and how we can employ smart ways and smart meters to be able to get data and then use this data to project on the cost of saving the energy. So to me, the YIP program, the way it was structured, the training, the mentorship, and then the internships, it gave me a good footing in the energy career as I was getting ready to enter into the corporate world. By the way, the YIP program was not only about energy training. We were also taught about other professional skills like life skills and financial skills, which are really impactful to me up to now. And I'll say it's a lifetime skill. So thanks to you, I was able to get a good start into my career. So currently I'm working on my thesis, which is on energy harvesting, and would like to harvest energy from within the environment, that is the ambient environment, and use this energy to power low power electronic devices. So besides just the energy harvesting, we are designing low power circuits that will be used for Internet of Things, the wireless sensor networks, in AI, edge computing. As we see, it is advancing at a very fast rate. So we have to find solutions, as I've said, that as youth, we have to innovate other methods, other ways of powering our world to be able to relieve, the challenges that are being brought about by the conventional sources. So as a youth, I'd like to challenge you to be thinking of other alternative sources of energy as a means of addressing part of these energy challenges. So to add on this is that the YIP program gave me a deeper understanding on energy saving behaviors and the technologies which are in place to use to realize this. I got to appreciate more on the value of energy efficiency and maintaining energy efficiencies in everywhere where we go in all sectors that we are in. And in my place, I got to appreciate more on designing circuits and factoring in the aspect of energy in all the designs that we are doing currently. We know that the technology is moving and the problems in energy are getting complex and complex. And so we have to address this challenge from all corners, and the technology is at the center of all this. So some of the advices I got from the professionals in the industry.
Okay, thanks, Karen. Thanks, Karen. I know Albert was still speaking. We'll get to hear more of what he's talking about in the last session, where we'll be looking at some of the benefits that he's been able to get from the youth program. Now, I'd just like to invite our trainees. We have Gloria Maruti, we have Cheryl, and we also have Raymond Namusoso from Uganda. If you can put a pin on all of them, so we can have all of them on the screen kindly. I think we're missing Raymond.
I'm here, I'm around.
Okay. Okay, hi, how are you? Hi, Gloria, how are you doing?
Hi, Linda. Good to see you after such a long time. I'm doing fine. It's a pleasure to be part of this beautiful course towards empowering other youth who are just like me in the energy sector.
Yeah. Hi, Cheryl.
Hi, Linda. It's also great to see you, and thank you so much for allowing us to be here and speak to other youth and also just share more about the youth program.
Okay. Hi, Raymond.
Hi, Linda.
Hi, I know we can't see you,
You
but
can't see me? Is
we
it
can
dark?
see you. But thank you for joining us all. I think we can have just a bit of a panel discussion on your experience, first of all, in the youth program and also how that has translated into where you're working currently and the amazing things that you're doing. So I think we can start with Gloria. How has your transition been from the youth program up to now? I know you've been able to work for several organizations and currently you're at Area Energy. So kindly just give us a brief overview of that.
Thank you, Linda. So, YIP, for me, I think maybe I can just start from before YIP and post YIP. I'll just give a brief background. So like I was drawn to YIP because of its practical approach. Because YIP, what they were offering at the time and they still do is bridging the gap between academic knowledge and hands-on experience. And at the time I had also just graduated and I was in the what next phase of my career. So I saw YIP as an opportunity to immerse myself in real life world energy challenges and to be able to gain access to mentorship from industry leaders. And in the long run, be able to contribute to meaningful change. So in terms of maybe the skills that YIP has been able to equip me with is both technical and soft skills. I think my CEO, Jenny Fletcher, had mentioned a couple of minutes ago about the soft skills that we acquire during the YIP program. So, for example, when during my cohort, we undertook workshops and trainings. And through those, I was able to gain a deeper understanding of energy audits, energy management, why it's so important, and also the application of smart metering smart metering for monitoring consumption of clients. And now, YIP practically set a good foundation for me to transition to the solar industry where I am today. So a good instance is where I was attached at Kappa Industries, and where at that time they had a 1.35 megawatt peak solar system. And for me, that was like I didn't know the magnitude or like what impact it was contributing to industry until now I was exposed to it. So I got to understand how it works and the benefits. And now, currently in my place of work, I'm on the other side, now looking at it from an EPC perspective, pitching it to clients why they should go solar, and I'm doing it from a knowledge side. Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Is this the same career that you had envisioned when you were starting? Now you're in solar. I know you started somewhere different. Now you have passion for solar.
Yeah, I mean, it somehow aligns with what I had envisioned because I have my background is in chemical engineering, but even as I was doing my undergraduate, I really wanted to specialize in energy management, and YIP helped to kind of like reinforce that dream. And in the long run, I'm now in solar industry, which is part of renewable energy. So I would say yes, within what I had wanted.
Okay, that's amazing. I think I will come back to you. I am so glad that you found your passion because I know the field is also really wide and so many companies are also taking in sustainability programs. So if you are not sure of where you're heading, the YIP program is able to keep you focused and you're able to also see the area that you're really passionate about. And for Cheryl, what area do you feel like now you're passionate about and you're focused on now?
Okay, so I think I'll also start with the background. I first heard about YIP in beginning of 2021. I had just cleared school. And of course, after you've cleared school, uh, you're looking for just a place to start because you have all this knowledge from school, but now you want to apply it. You want to see where it will take you. So when I came across YIP, I saw that it was the right place to equip me with what I needed to make impact because I wanted to solve problems. I wanted to make impact in my surrounding, but I didn't know where to start, especially because in school you learn so much. And you've mentioned the fact that YIP, Gloria shared the fact that YIP sort of directs you somewhere. So I wanted to join the energy industry, and YIP just came at the right time. And comparing then and now, YIP has sort of it has been a guide for me step by step in growing career-wise. Because after YIP, I joined a company that I learned about during the YIP program. They had presented once on compressor efficiency. So immediately after YIP, I joined that company. And while there, I kept asking myself still, what direction do I want to take? Because now I was now looking at the future, and I settled on for sure, it's energy. So I continue to look for opportunities in energy. And here I am now. I'm working in a company that provides energy and a plus water solutions. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. I know you're currently placed at Davis and Shatcliffe. How
Yeah.
is the experience there in terms of what you've learned in the youth program and how you're translating it into the workplace now?
So for example, I first learned about sizing for solar while undertaking the YIP training at Davis and Shatcliffe. One of the solutions we provide is in solar for homes, for commercial industries, and even for pumping. So basic knowledge in solar for me came from YIP. So even when I joined, I'm glad to say I was a bit of a step ahead, and it was seen. Like I knew some things, and I was mostly passionate about solar because we have a variety of segments. But because of the background I had in solar, I was more confident, and even to date, I'm mostly confident in selling solar solutions. Apart from that, the knowledge I gained in energy efficiency, energy audits. So now when I'm maybe providing solutions because I'm in sales, when I'm giving solutions to customers, the first thing I check is how can we minimize their consumption? Apart from just selling them this solution, like let's say their demand is 4 kilowatt, how can we first maybe take it to 3.5 or 3 kilowatt before selling them the system? So I feel like all this is thanks to YIP.
Yeah, that's amazing. I think also learning how to size systems, giving the client the right system, not just looking to implement a project, but what other outcomes can they benefit from different solutions other than the one that you're offering. That's an amazing thing to hear. And I know Raymond is all the way in Uganda and he's here with us today. I know his experience is also very different, and he's also been able to join in some of the energy audit practical engagement that we've had as innovators. And that has enabled him to also look at what he would want to do post the YIP program. So Raymond, kindly tell us a bit about your experience. How are you doing? How is Uganda?
Yeah, thank you very much, Linda. I'm doing well, and Uganda is cool. Of course, as we all know, we have a lot of food there. So if you have food, then I think you're always okay. Yeah, so to give you a background of this year program, you come out of university and you're a bit green of what to do. You're confused. You've been taken through a system that dates back to the 1940s, and the system does not teach you how to think creatively, innovate. So you join this pool of unemployed youth. Just to give you context, in Uganda, for example, Makerere University alone will release about 14,000 graduates. So when you compound all that, you're having more than 700 people joining the job market looking for what to do, and only 13% of that will get what to do. So I'm a proud alumnus of the year program. It came at the right time for me, I think. You know, unlike many institutions, civil society, and most of the private sector, of course, the private sector is more profit oriented. So you're going to find that they offer limited opportunities for the youth. They want to work with experienced people. And yet, I think that's really funny. Clearly, you look at the population, more than 80% is the youth. So time is going to come and there is no alternative. We shall have to work with the youth. So now is the time to involve us, engage us, and equip us with the right skills required to solve the problems for today. Yeah, so I found the YIP providing uh, a unique experience and solution to this existing problem. It's actually linking university to industry. I can tell you when I got into this program in just less than a year, I would say I've been able to get an experience that I think I would have obtained in 5 years in less than a year. I was able to conduct more than 10 energy audits. Uh, I, I participated in expediting the energy performance certification process in South Africa. You know, these are not just certifications. We, we do have tangible outcomes out of these that were clearly explained by the speakers before me. You've heard of the bills that have been reduced in these facilities, improving on the profitability of these of our clients. Emissions have been reduced. These clients have been able to obtain carbon credits, diversifying their revenue streams. So there's great potential in this space, and I also find YEP post YEP. I found YEP very visionary because if you look at a country like Uganda, Tanzania, you would see that we are still at the nascent stages, the nascent stage of energy of promoting energy efficiency in East Africa, unlike Kenya. So you're going to find that this year program is providing a platform to train a task force of skilled youth that will take up these opportunities. For example, the energy efficiency bill in Uganda is tabled in parliament, and anytime it will be approved. So you can see the opportunities that will be there for us that have been trained. So I would urge the youth out there to take up these opportunities, these programs. And just to add on the component of how holistic this program is, it's quite very comprehensive because you're not only taken through the technical components, but you're taken through the soft skills. And I can tell you that I've benefited from these soft skills. I have my startup company that I'm running with a couple of colleagues, co-founders, and I can tell you these soft skills, such as communication skills, uh, personal branding, and how to brand the organization. All these skills that were obtained from this program have really been helpful to scale up our operations out there, and we have also been able to easily network. So I'm very glad to be part of this program. Linda, I don't know if is there any other question?
Yeah, that's amazing. I think your experience has been quite different because when we train the youth, we of course give them enough skills and knowledge that can assist them to either be employable or be entrepreneurs. And you took the entrepreneurship route. And I think you're doing amazing things also with your colleagues. Would you want to speak a little bit more about currently what you're doing in terms of your business?
Yeah, I'm currently running a water and energy company established in Uganda, and we are providing water and energy solutions to meet the growing needs of, uh, of the water and energy in Uganda and mostly in East Africa. So we provide solar solutions for our clients. We also provide energy auditing to help clients reduce on their cost of production, because we know energy is one of those costs of production that take up a big percentage of it. So if we can help these facilities cut down on those costs, then they become profitable. So we are providing value to our clients regarding providing water and energy solutions.
Wow, that's really amazing. And I know at one point or another, you'll be able to partner with some of the companies here. I know Area Energy can also offer their support. They're looking at the Ugandan market as well. They have projects ongoing there and a team. So it would be good to see how we can continue this partnership and also help you to drive some of the great, amazing things that you're doing for that region. And I think with that, I would want to also acknowledge one of our partners from the World Energy Day Foundation, who was the former president of UNREA. UNREA is based in Uganda. It's the Uganda National Renewable Energy and Energy Efficiency Alliance. And it's an umbrella organization that has 5 other member organizations. And what they do is champion renewable energy and energy efficiency in Uganda. So we had Elvis Sekate join us, and I would just like to acknowledge him and also acknowledge UNREA for the amazing things that they've been able to do, supporting youth programs and also supporting the energy sector in Uganda. So with that, thank you so much for sharing your experience. I know we'll be able to come back to you with the questions that I can see on the chat. I see Stephanie Ngugi from the Social House has commended Chantel for the presentation. And she is also saying that there's so much more that Chantel does for the Social House than what she presented. She's a real asset, and that's what we would want to hear from organizations. So this is also a call to organizations to take up a youth, take up an intern, and also see how you can drive your current energy bills lower than they currently are. So some of these measures and some of the projects that the trainees are developing are, like we mentioned, low-hanging fruit. So you may not have to spend so much money. Currently, you may be looking at a project that is very costly, but we would find ways to ensure that you are more efficient. I also see on the chat, Kato Steven saying, nice to see you, Raymond. I think, Kato, are you based in Uganda? I think you can link up with Raymond. Maybe he would have an opportunity for you in this company. I just now would want to go into something that is very critical. We cannot end this session without speaking about energy management for facilities. More so, how can you know how much you're consuming? We've been talking about consuming energy. How can you know what you're consuming? How can you verify the bills that you're receiving from your power distributor? How can you find ways to bring down that cost? So we do have different tools that we have been able to implement within the youth program. And Karen mentioned some of them. And the biggest one that we would want to talk about is remote monitoring for facilities. This is a tool that is really key for you to ensure that you can be able to see your data and also make informed decisions on the go. So I have Lois and Nono. Lois was also part of the youth program. Today we are just speaking on the youth and the amazing things that they're doing in organizations. So Lois Anono was part of one of the cohorts for YIP, and she was able to join a company called Innovators Limited, which has been driving the youth program. And from before joining Innovators, she worked at the Social House as well. So just before Chantel joined the Social House, Lois was able to also offer them a lot of insight into their energy management, energy consumption, and how they can manage what they're currently consuming. So Lois has an important unboxing today for us, and I'd just like to welcome her to share a little bit more about that. Lois, we can't hear you. Hi, Lois.
Hi. Now you can hear me?
Yes, now we can hear you.
Okay. Allow me to share my screen. Just a minute.
So I think as you're sharing your screen, you'd be able to tell us more about what this tool does, what it is, what it does, and how it can benefit some facilities or clients who may be here and don't know about remote monitoring tools.
Yes. Just a minute. So everyone can see the screen.
Yes, there's a bit of an echo. I think there's one of the devices near you. For the rest of the participants, kindly put your questions in the chat box. If you have questions for our trainer, if you have questions for the YIP coordinators, if you have questions for the beneficiaries, including ARIA, Finergy, and the social house, kindly just put them on the chat and we'll be able to take them before we end this session today. We'll also be able to share this presentation. So Karen will also put some links for beneficiaries or any facilities that may want to join the YIP program or support a youth or take up an intern. She will be able to put some links for you to fill a form and you'll be able to join the program quite easily. Lice, are you ready now?
Yes.
Okay.
So for everyone, so at Innovators Limited, we have, meters, which are real-time monitors, and they're smart meters. So for a facility, if it has several points that require monitoring, especially at the switchboards, we normally install the meters. These meters, as Chantel had said, they can log 5 three-phase loads or 15 single-phase loads. So whenever we install a meter, we usually check the parameters over here. So the parameters are these normal electrical parameters, which is voltage, amperes, frequency, and then the total power. So we have to make sure it's at the stabilized parts. We have to also make sure that our currents for each particular load are sequential and concise in accordance to what is at the boards. And we also have to make sure our voltage and the frequency are good. So if we have anything on the meters or whatever is being showcased on this part is not in line with what would normally be a standard figure, we know we have standard figures worldwide. So if it's not standard, we have to go down with it and actually analyze with the site facility engineers. So real-time monitoring or just analyzing or seeing your consumption in real time helps you also determine if your equipment are up to standard, if the current, the sequence, the voltage, if everything within your facility board or your supply board is constant. So that is all from me, unless there are any questions.
Yeah, I just have a question. I know you've jumped into numbers, but I know some of the attendees here may not know what remote monitoring is, what this platform is. I know there's a platform called Eagles that Innovators uses. So maybe you can give us a little bit more about that.
Okay, so for the Eagles platform, we mostly use it for our analysis. So Innovators is generally an energy company that does audits and financial analysis and historical analysis, and there's usually a whole procedure to that. So for the facility, once we manage to log the meters, we link them to this software. So once we link it to this software, what we do, we can manage to come and perform your financial analysis. Even if it's an audit, you can do a financial analysis, but this is based off on the energy efficiency SCMs that you developed for that particular facility. So there's procedures to doing a financial analysis, and there's a procedure to actually developing an energy efficiency measure for a facility. So you'll analyze your data. So that is based off on the historical analysis. And then there's the logged analysis, which will help you do your financial state. You'll understand the financial state of the facility. So the software that we have, which is the Eagles Lite, generally does those things. And you're able to also view, you're able to view a facility. Once you click on this one of these cards, essentially it's supposed to bring you to the facility itself. So Innovators currently is off grid, and our solar has not been tied to this system. However, you can tie the solar that is being generated to the software, to the e-gauge meter itself, and it can be able to show you your wattage or your consumption, whether it's generated or whether you're on the grid. Linda, have I answered your question?
Yes, you have. I can see that it's live. So how does that help a facility to make decisions in terms of their energy consumption, and how do they view this data? How can they access this data?
Okay, so to know if you're live, you'll just let me see. Okay, yeah. So yes, okay, I've said this facility is not utilizing grid power currently. Let me check another facility that's on real time. So if you're able to see your consumption on a real-time basis, you're able to understand what you're consuming in that moment. So for this facility X, okay, yeah, so we can see the time is 12:29 p.m. and currently we are seeing the real-time consumption of this facility. So if you're able to tell it in real time, you're able to understand how your demand goes in a consistent manner. If it's consistently at 140, you'll be able to see it all through. If it drops at any moment, you'll be able to see, and you can be able to narrow down as to why it dropped, because you've managed to log several points. So you can go down and pinpoint where exactly what exactly happened and at which particular point that is being logged that has dropped. Linda, what is the other question?
Yeah, just how facilities can utilize this tool to make decisions in real time.
Oh, yes. Oh, I believe I've answered that in that statement.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yes,
okay.
you have. I think there's a question for you from Pacific, who says, welcome, Lois, please share your experience with YIP. Share with us your experience with YIP. So I think you can give your experience from the YIP program and how you're doing now.
Okay, Pacific. My experience with YIP was eye-opening, and I'm one engineer who would love to have a base where you can explore and where you can project and traject your experience and learn and still grow at the same time. And that was offered quite effectively at YIP, especially the support that you receive. It also emboldened me to be able to ask more questions. I'm one person who's I'd rather tackle that issue and find a solution on my own, but then it's opened a space where you can inquire questions. You can inquire from anyone, from Engineer Manyala to Karen, if you have any issues, to Chris Mbori. They can guide you along the way, and they're very open to questions. If you reach out, they'll be very willing to guide you out. So it helped me understand that in this life, in every situation, wherever you go to work, try and consult, try and gain insights from someone else from different perspectives. Particularly when I was at Social House, it was an eye-opener. I could actually go to the laundry area and actually ask someone who's working with that particular machine, how is this operating and what measures do you feel would be put in place to handle this better? And those insights were really impactful. So yes, when you're at a facility in any line of work, inquire, even if that person does not seem to be tied to the engineering aspect or the finance aspect, there's some insights they will give that will give you a different perspective. Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Lois. Yeah, I know your experience has also been very great, and we've also been able to see you grow from the time you also attended one of the World Energy Day conferences and you were able to speak. So from the time you joined the YIP program to now, you worked for 2 other organizations, and I think that has been really key in ensuring that you are progressing with your career. And there's a question again from Pacific, which says, how is that tool different from Victron Connect? Can you speak more on use of bioenergy in cooling and refrigeration as sustainable energy source? I don't know if you can answer part of the question or all of it.
So Pacific, I'm not sure what Victron Connect is. However, the e-gauge itself is used to, it can measure your consumption in kilowatt hours. It can measure the parameters, electrical parameters as I've shown. It can also give you real-time monitoring, regardless of wherever you are. You can set it at the settings so that you can access it via your phone and your laptop, any equipment that you have. Also, with the e-gauge monitor itself, it can store your data for a very long period, up to 30 years. It also has its own software, which I showed. The one that shows you the real time itself, it has this. So this one comes out on its own. It does not come out. You don't need to purchase it. It comes with the meter itself. So it has that. Also, it can log for you 5 3-phase loads. It can log for you 15 single-phase loads, or there's also one that can log for 30. It has 30 ports, meaning it can log 30 single-phase loads. In addition to that, it is effective and it's a very small gadget. Next time we'll make sure to insert photos of the meter itself. It's a very tiny gadget and it can be installed at any point. Yes. I'm not sure of how Victron works. However, I'll do a research on that. Also on bioenergy in cooling and refrigeration, I am afraid I may not have so much intel on that. However, I would love to explore that. And I don't know, yes.
Yeah, thanks, Lois. I think you've answered the question, and we also have other experts here who would also take this up. So now I just want us to move into the Q&A session. I know some of us here have questions. I know there's some questions in the chat box. I'll also allow the participants to raise your hand if you have a burning question. Also regarding the Eagles Energy Management Platform and also remote monitoring tools. If you have any questions regarding that, kindly put it in the chat box. So now I just want to take some questions, and I could see a question about the YIP program. So Karen, this question is for you. And it's again from Pacific, who's asking, is it possible to attend this training through online?
Yes, thank you so much, Linda, for that question, and thank you, Pacific. I think that's the person who asked the question. Yeah, so yes, it's possible to attend the trainings. Actually, the training, the YIP training that we have is hybrid, which means you can join physically from our training center, or you can join online from wherever you are.
Yeah, thank you. This makes it very inclusive. So that is how the YIP program has been able to scale into other regions. It started in Kenya with 10 trainees and moved to Kenya and Uganda with 35 trainees. Currently, it's in Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. with the current cohort. So we are also looking to implement and replicate it in other regions. So we'll be able to also take up interns from different regions. Karen, again, I think there's another question from Amos Siokao, who is asking, thank you, Karen, for the insights about HEAP. Once you perform energy management or audits for industries, do you also provide insight on how they can benefit from reducing their greenhouse gas emissions from the atmosphere? So I think I can allow you to answer this, and Engineer Manyala can also jump in to answer this.
Okay, thank you. Yes, I think once we perform the energy management, basically what HEAP does is, or rather what we do during the second phase of the training, which involves internship, is that the young people are required to develop reports. We call them project development reports, or PDRs. And in these reports, the facilities are given recommendations on what they could, maybe commending them on what they are doing better, and also recommending what they can do and how they can do it, and for how long that would take, and what they will need, basically. So the report covers everything. And I think Jenny or Engineer Manyala spoke about the financing aspect, which comes, we're also able to guide them on how to kind of access financing to implement some or most of these recommended projects. Yeah, so basically that's what we do for the facilities towards the end of the program. I hope I've been able to answer you, Amos.
Yes, thanks, Karen. And you've just spoken on something really, really critical for some facilities that may need to implement projects. And Jenny Fletcher from ARIA Finergy, they also have some financial incentives and mechanisms that they can allow facilities and organizations to take up renewable energy projects. Jenny, would you like to share a little bit about how this process is conducted by ARIA?
Yeah, sure. I'm just sorry, I had my camera. There we go. Yeah, so we finance some smaller projects ourselves. But for the large projects, we use third-party financing. And there's a lot of, not banks, Kenya banks are notoriously difficult to get financing from. And Uganda and Tanzania as well. But you know, there's quite a few agencies that do provides financing. So we have an agreement with a company called Spark that finances a lot of different deals related to energy efficiency and also large C&I projects. So, you know, it is about creating relationships with the financing entities. We're primarily an engineering, procurement, and construction company, but as you've rightly noted, a lot of these companies do need financing. So then there's and I can provide, maybe I can just provide a list to Linda of some of the different financing organizations that can be approached. If you have either a renewable energy project or a energy efficiency project that needs financing, because it's just a matter of creating the right relationships.
Yeah, thanks, Jenny. Thank you so much for mentioning that. I know there are so many organizations that would want to fund some of their projects. So we'll also share the email addresses for the speakers, and also you can reach out to them if you would like to partner. That's what the youth program also does, to ensure that we are driving partnerships in the region. The only way we can uptake or take up energy efficiency in renewable projects in East Africa is to share knowledge and also to network. So that's what this platform does. And that is also why the World Energy Day is there, because the World Energy Day brings all these parties together in one forum where we can discuss different things. So we have another question, I think, that is burning from Sharon Kathuri, who is asking Engineer Manyala, could you kindly expound on the energy economics and financial analysis?
Yeah, thank you, Linda. Thank you, Kathuri, for that question. Normally, when you evaluate projects, it does not matter whether it is an energy efficiency project or an energy improvement project. There are certain financial metrics that are important for people in finance. And off the top of my head, I can think of IRR, which is the internal rate of return, ROI, return on investment, and NPV, which is net present value. For you to be able to convince a financier to give you money to finance a project, which is really what Linda and Jenny have been talking about, you need to be able to work out these metrics. And economic and financial analysis is the route to equip you with the skills to work out these metrics, because there is a body of knowledge that you need to acquire to be able to work out these metrics. And that is what we teach you in the economic and financial analysis module of the YIP program. I don't know if that answers the question.
Yes, I think that answers the question. And as Jenny has also rightfully pointed out, there's the Spark platform, and the Spark platform is part of Camco Clean Energy, one of the funds that they manage for the African region, and they help to support organizations to implement projects. So they take away that financial headache. If you have a project, an energy project that you would want to implement, you can also contact Innovators Limited, and also we'll put you in touch with Jenny to see how we can be able to assist you. We may not be able to answer all the questions, Sharon, at length, but you can also reach out to us. Karen, I think you can share some of the contacts for our speakers on the chat box. I think we'll take a question from, I think this is also Sharon Kathuri asking, hello, Karen, assume you get a chance to join the program and you currently have a job. How does that affect the placement in the internship program?
Thank you so much, Sharon, for that. I think it's a very good question. Actually, most of the interns we have for the third cohort are in employment. So what we try to do is integrate the program into your schedule. And that's one of the things that we look at when we are conducting interviews, or rather vetting, to see if our interns are fit for the program. So what we find out is the nature of your facility, and if you'll be able to take your internship phase there, we are able to integrate the program into your schedule so that you don't have to leave or look for internship opportunity elsewhere, but you can just do it there. And provided that the setup, or rather the nature of the organization, does not allow you to learn as much as you could, you can still opt to remain. And then if we are able to tag you in some of the projects that we have running from time to time, we loop you in so that despite the fact that you're not able to attend the internship program fully, you're able to tag along with a team of experts and be involved in a couple of energy management and energy auditing projects, so that at the end of the 6 months, there's something you've also gained. So that is how we approach that particular matter.
Okay, I see Jenny needs to join another meeting. Thank you so much, Jenny, for joining us today. We appreciate your time and we look forward to engaging further in the World Energy Day conference and also in the YIP program. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much. This is such a fabulous platform. Really, really great presentations today. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good day.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Okay, I think we have, you can take one more question. Anyone with a burning question, you can raise your hand. I see Kip Koech asking, I'm anxious to know how long it took the alumni, how long it took them to undertake their retrofit projects, right from joining internships, if any. So I think Gloria, Cheryl, Raymond, would you be able to answer Kip Koech? I believe this goes into any project, retrofit projects that you worked on in the facilities that you are in. Okay, I think Kip Koech will be able to take this later. Okay, we have Stephanie Mutama with her hand raised. Stephanie, kindly unmute your mic and just proceed.
Linda, sorry, I am having a little bit of connectivity issue. What was the question?
The question was regarding retrofitting projects in a facility, how long that would take. I think this was in terms of any YEPA who has been placed and has taken up a project, how long that took for the organization to do a project.
I mean, I think that really depends on the type of project it is that you've been given, and also the flexibility of the management in the organization to be able to make a decision on maybe your recommendations and implement. So I wouldn't be able to give a specific timeline because that is kind of like influenced by external factors.
I also agree. Yes, there's a lot that goes into it, planning, and also in terms of finances, how ready is the organization? Is there a budget for it? And also bringing the expertise together. So I think it depends with the facility. And Stephanie, I believe you are from the social house. Yes.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, so I'd also like to add, like one of the things I learned during the YEP program, the major challenge with most industries usually is finances. And it's good that we now have a financing plan, because most of these companies want to take up these projects, but because of maybe their budget, sometimes they move it to another year, and it takes time to maybe just prove to them that this is truly valuable. So personally for me, while at Kenchik, most of the things I recommended are yet to be implemented, but I could tell that it's things they were interested in implementing. Though I also recommended installing a solar backup, which they did. But I can attribute this to the fact that by the time I was joining, it was also something they were thinking about. So when I came in and recommended it, it also gave them sort of a push. So most of these companies take time, and I think it's because of the financing, and this has been solved by, let's say, the financing plans that we have right now.
Yeah, thank you. That actually makes a lot of sense, because like we mentioned, we know that clients have the financial headache, the financial burden of having to implement a project. You have your core business, so you're focusing on driving your core business, and then you have to also think about being more sustainable. So that's why the youth program comes and looks at these low-hanging fruits and sees which projects they can implement at a low cost, and also which ones you can move into a year where you're financially able to, or how can we engage you or connect you to a network of financiers that can allow you to also implement the projects as soon as possible. So I think that has been today's session. I thank you, all of you, for joining us. If there's any other question, I think we have answered all questions, unless there's a question that I haven't been able to take. Yeah, I think I've answered all the questions. I would just like to thank all of you for joining us today. It's been a very insightful session. I know it's been quite the number of hours that you've been able to stick with us and also listen to us about the youth program and how you can not only take up an intern or develop an internship program, but why it's important for you to have an energy manager or energy engineer placed in your facility. So if you work for any organization that will want to partner with the YEEP program, kindly reach out to Karen. Karen, kindly put your email address on the chat box. And also for the World Energy Day, we do have the conference coming up. That is the next session. So we had the first webinar on 29th August, where we're looking at energy in transport. We've had this webinar looking at the youth programs. And we now have the conference coming up on the World Energy Day itself, which is celebrated annually on the 22nd of October. So we'd hope to see you all. It will be an event that will be hosted in Nairobi, and it will be a physical event. We'll also try and make it hybrid. That way you can join in virtually. So we will be able to send out more information about this. And we are hoping that we can be able to give you a good session. It will be just leading up to, I think there's a weekend in Kenya, we have a public holiday. So I know we'll be coming back from holiday, but it's a good way to engage during the World Energy Day to kind of have a discussion on some of the topics we've unpacked from the first webinar, and also looking at the future. What other topics would you want us to speak on in the next World Energy Day conference? As we mentioned, we do have webinars that run up to the conference and other activities, including an innovation challenge, youth innovation challenge, which we're not able to take up this year. However, we'll be graduating the youth in energy program cohort 3 during the conference on 22nd of October. And we will have a gala dinner for this. So we welcome you to join us, and we'll be able to give you more about the location, but the date is set. The date is 22nd of October. So Karen, maybe you can put the flyer here in case someone may want to take a screenshot. We'll be able to share this information with you. We have your email addresses, so you'll be able to get a lot of insight on what we are organizing. And also, if you want to be part of the YEEP program, we'll be able to share more about that. And also share this presentation that you can use for reference or to also share with your networks. Again, I thank you so much. We have made it on time. We were to end at 1 p.m., so we have kept good time. Maybe we can have final takeaways from our YEEP trainees, if they're still with us. Kindly say something, Gloria. We can start with Gloria, then we can have Cheryl, and then we can also have Raymond if he's still with us.
Thanks, Linda. So I guess maybe one piece of advice I could give that I was given when I was still in YEEP, and it has really stood and guided me throughout my career, is to always stay curious and adaptable. Because you see, energy technology is constantly changing, and for any professional in this field, myself included, there's need to keep up with innovation, and this mindset has really helped me to remain proactive in my career. And then also maybe just a shout out to innovators. The mentorship program that you guys offer to YEEP alumni, or sorry, YEEP cohorts is very, very essential. For me, I've been a great beneficiary of it. And yeah, I think you guys should continue with it. Thank you.
Thanks, Gloria. Thank you, Gloria. I know the innovators team is here, and they have heard you. So we intend to continue encouraging them to continue with the program. Cheryl? Okay, I think Cheryl is coming up. Raymond, are you still with us?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, so my final remarks are, Africa has the youngest population in the world, and in the next 30 years, or even a few years from now, we will be at the global center of leadership. So the time for our empowerment is now. I would like to also commend the YEP program team for its degree of transparency. The vetting and selection process is authentic, based on merit. You see, when we're nurtured by such people of integrity, a proper culture is passed down onto us, portraying the same, unlike the status quo that involves a lot of corrupt leadership. So I'm very happy that we're able to be taken through by an enthusiastic and passionate team that is willing to impart the relevant skills to us. So I'm forever grateful for having gone through your hands, and I look forward to the future collaborations as well as moving our agenda forward of empowering the youth. Thank you.
Thanks so much. Thanks so much, Raymond. And we now finally have
Linda.
Cheryl. Yes.
Hello, I hope you can hear me now.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so I'd also like to thank innovators for this very great and impactful opportunity for the youth. It is such a huge investment, and you can be sure it has an impact on us. I'd also like to thank the organizations that accept to take in YEP interns, and even the mentors that accept to mentor us during the program. To the youth, those fellow cohortions, I hope that we can continue to network. And to those that would like to join this program, I'd like to agree with Chantel that it is quite competitive, but it is worth every moment. Like, you really have to try, just try and give it your best. Thank you so much.
Thanks so much, Cheryl. Now we'll have final takeaways from Engineer Manyala as the trainer for the YEP program.
Thank you very much, Linda. I really don't think that I have a lot to say, but I must express my gratitude to the alumni of the YEP program. They are doing wonderful things out there. They are impacting society. They are impacting the organizations in which they work. And it is a demonstration that given the right opportunities, given the right environment, our youth can excel in very many different spheres of life. Maybe it didn't even come out that apart from Albert, there are other graduates from this program that are also working outside the continent in Europe and in America. And the reports we have back is that they are really impacting their workplaces. So I would want to encourage our alumni, please keep up the good work. We are here for you. It does not mean that once you are in your workplace and you have a challenge, you cannot touch base with us so that we assist in whatever way we can. Thank you very much for being a good ambassadors, and enjoy the rest of the afternoon.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Engineer Manyala. And thank you so much for all the participants for staying with us. Thank you, Stephanie, for the encouragement, and Patricia also. Patricia is based in Tanzania, part of the YEP Cohort 3 program. Thank you so much for attending today's session. I think if you don't mind, maybe you could switch on your camera and we can take a picture just to commemorate today's session as part of the World Energy Day 2024 Forum. Ruth will be able to take a picture. I think she will be able to tell us when to smile. For those who don't mind, you can switch on your camera as we come to an end.
Hello, I'm waiting to see your smiles. Still waiting. Or do you want us to just screenshot your names? That is not nice. Okay, Stephanie, you're representing. If you can see Stephanie, smile the way she's smiling.
Hello, nice to meet you all. Okay, thank you all. Bye.
Thank you all for attending today. I think we'll just end today's session at that. Ruth, you can play us a little bit of music as we end the session. Okay, as Ruth is bringing that up. Yeah.